especially with the diabetes community. I don't think there's enough resources out there. And I'm always willing to help people and like shine light as best as I can. Or
So I thought we'd go ahead and start. If you could just tell us a little bit about yourself.
yeah, so I am from Arizona. I've lived here my entire life.
So we're here to talk about your journey, and so maybe you could talk a little bit about when you first realized something might be wrong.
I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes when I was 8. So, leading up to me being diagnosed, I was losing a lot of weight. My grandmother was actually the one who realized something was not right, but she noticed that I was going to the bathroom constantly and I was constantly thirsty. So she had let my mom know, like, hey, I think you might need to take her into BC because they had said most patients who have, blood sugars at 400 or 500 are starting to have seizures, strokes, go into comas. For me, I didn't know the difference with them coming in and drawing blood to like giving me shot. To that, I understood, but like once I got home, I think realization set in like, oh, okay, like this is my life now. Like this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. But I just knew that I was different. I think that was the biggest thing is that things that you enjoy as a kid, I missed out on a lot of things. With diabetes brings a lot of independence at such an early age. Like it's crazy to think, at 8, 9 years old, I was having to figure like be super healthy and take on that responsibility of at this time I have to do this and I have to make sure that I'm not missing doses. And that can be a lot on a kid.
For sure. And so over time, I imagine you got accustomed to the new routine. And talk to us about some of the treatments that you've had to go through, your interactions with healthcare professionals. How has that gone for you?
So with diabetes, it's kind of funny because I've had it for 23, almost 24 years. It'll be 24 years next month. It also, in a way, it's hard to get used to because diabetes is always changing. My meter was like as big as my phone to where
Okay.
now it's like really, really tiny. I was on two different types of insulin when I first got diagnosed. One was called regular and the other was NPH, which they don't make anymore. Once I got to like junior high or high school, I went on to what's called a sliding scale, which let me eat a little bit more freely. I wasn't on as strict of a diet because I think one of the challenges I faced was having to eat when you're not hungry. Tested my limits. Like in high school, especially, I saw how far I could go either without taking insulin, um, which is bad, like very, very bad. I had several hospital visits due to that because like I almost had convinced myself at a certain point that I had been misdiagnosed or like that I didn't have diabetes anymore because I was going days and sometimes like a week or so at a time without eating or like not eating, but checking my sugars or doing my shots. And at first, like, wasn't having crazy blood sugars, but then once you do it so much and you're not getting what your body needs, then of course complications happened. Now being older, I've been able to know what foods affect me a certain way. Um, that's not to say there's times that like I don't eat food that I actually like and and want. I just know that I have to adjust for it. So I think for me, what really helped like as an adult was just recognizing that there's always going to be a sacrifice that I'm going to have to make, But again, like I can work my diabetes around me and my lifestyle and the things that I want versus making like my whole life diabetes. To pay it forward to my future self, I try to make changes and live as healthy as far as making sure I am eating on a daily basis. um, Exercise has not been the strong my strongest suit, but it's something I've been trying to incorporate more lately, especially working from home almost the last year, so trying to stay more active. As far as like the 10 years later situation, this earlier in 2020, I started noticing I was having really weird spots in my left eye. So I had to go see a specialist. Your body's not supposed to produce more blood vessels like once you have them, but I started growing more blood vessels, which hemorrhaged and leaked, and that's why I was seeing spots and having trouble with my vision. I've spent the last, 8 years working really hard to be healthier, and I can definitely tell like I feel better, I have more energy, I sleep better. That's a huge thing when your blood sugars are all over the place. It's really hard to get good sleep. Um, but and I don't know, like overall I can just feel a difference.
Perfect. So, it sounds like you've had tremendous support. Sounds like you have the right enabling technology with the monitor.
But I think like just being honest with your feelings and thoughts about it is a huge step. But then realizing, okay, like this is a small thing in the grand scheme of things for me to live life and be happy and to be as normal as possible, regardless of where you're at. Maybe start trying to develop a larger community or a larger resource for people. Making sure you have somebody in your life that you can talk to openly about what you go through. I mean, I'm definitely fortunate that I have, my husband, and I have really good friends and family that I feel confident I could go to and confide in whenever I need to, or if I need to complain, like I just need a moment to complain, they'll allow it to happen.